Everybody, it's Charles, your hobby hero, and today we are going to be talking about the allocations for set 1 of Disney Lorcana. But first, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down in the bottom corner. I do appreciate it. I do put out regular content about the hobbies that I love the most, with this channel being specifically for the card games that I play. Now, having said that, the allocations, we knew were going to be bad. I talked about it in one of the first videos I put up. Everybody knew this set was going to be bad whenever it came to allocations. But now the allocations are out, it is even worse than we imagined. A lot of the people that had been ordering were expecting to at least get some reasonable semblance of their order. Most of those have been allocated down to next to nothing. So we're going to talk about kind of what those allocations look like, what to expect when you go into your LGSs, and what are some of the solutions for you if you are an LGS on getting this product out the best way for some of your clients. Now, first, when I say allocations are bad, what do I mean by bad? Well, in the past, if you ordered some product that you knew was going to be really hot when it came out, chances are you ordered a very large number, assuming you get some smaller percentage of it allocated to you. In this particular situation, it doesn't seem like they're really allocating based on the numbers that were ordered, but more so just based on whether or not you were approved to be one of the organized play stores. Put it in perspective, some of the biggest stores in our area ordered thousands of boxes, some of them getting as little as 6, and the highest I've heard so far is 16. Now, there have been some stores out there that have been claiming very large numbers, and I've not been able to reach out to them and confirm who their distributors are, but something to keep in mind is sometimes those distributors will promise a set number, but not necessarily at release. So they may promise you 24 boxes, but that may be over the first 2 to 3 waves of the set coming out. You may not receive any of those 24 on the release date. So what does this mean for you as a consumer? Well, as a consumer, for release, there are not going to be very many booster boxes available. Probably the shortest product that is coming out is going to be the sealed booster boxes. Even more so, some stores are getting so few boxes, they may not even be able to sell individual booster packs, trying to keep stuff aside for prizing for their organized play tournaments that they're going to have there. Now, having said that, there are booster packs in a lot of the products that are shipping out. The chest, the treasure chest, the starter decks each come with one as well, and those seem to be in enough supply that your LGS should be able to get those out in a reasonable quantity to their player base. So what does that mean? If you want a booster box, you're probably going to have to go to the secondary market for those stores who either don't have players to support them or don't want to look their players in the eyes while they try to charge market price for those boxes. Online stores, for the most part, I've heard, are not getting any product whatsoever if you do not have a brick and mortar. So the only thing that's going to be going to the secondary market at release are those brick and mortars who got approved for organized play and are willing to sell some of their product outside of their actual physical brick and mortar shop. So keep in mind, there won't be a ton of supply available even if you are willing to go to that secondary market. So I would imagine booster box prices are going to be quite inflated whenever the release hits. Now, keep in mind, there will be a second release at the beginning of September where all of these products should be hitting box stores, like your Targets and your Walmarts. Now, they won't carry booster boxes. At least I haven't heard that they would, but that would be very unusual for those big box stores to carry them. But they will have your traditional blister packs, they'll have your starter decks and your treasure chest boxes there as well. So there should be a supply coming in of singles for those of you guys who are wanting to play or collect sets once that September 1st date hits. Now, I've heard talk early on about them selling this at Disney World and Disneyland at release, but I haven't heard very many details about that since the original announcement, so I don't know how much or where that would be at. But if you're in Disney World on the 18th and you swing by a store, there could be some product there for you. So a lot of people I've heard too are looking at this long term and saying, hey, I don't need to play this game right when it drops. I'm not going to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of all this stuff, and I'm going to wait until these second and third waves come. I will caution you with that. Now, these second and third waves are coming. Ravensburger has come out and said, hey, we are going to print this set until people don't need it any longer. However, those printers aren't just on demand, and I'm sure those printers are currently occupied with Ravensburger's other projects. Set 2, Set 3 are probably either on their way to print or in the process of printing. If these are the same printing companies that print cards for their other games, it's not like you can just stop everything that you're doing and send something that's already been taken out of the press back to the presses. So these are going to take time. Not only are they take time, they're going to be coming out in very small waves, which honestly almost makes the FOMO worse. When your store is got 100 people waiting to get booster boxes and they receive a shipment of 5, there's not really any good way to allocate that to the individuals that are wanting the boxes, and it puts the stores in a really rough spot if they try to sell it at a price to reduce the options for people who are just trying to flip it for a quick buck. So what do you do if you're a store in one of these situations? Well, there's not a ton of options. Unfortunately, Ravensburger has kind of put the store owners in a precarious spot. They've given them a product that is super, super hot and not given them a supply that allows them to sell it in any reasonable fashion for their stores. They've also tied future supply and distribution to their organized play models. So if these stores are wanting to get players to come in and play, they've got to get product to these players somehow so that they can build decks, so they can play, so they can participate in this organized play community. Some of the stores I've talked to have been talking about doing sealed booster tournaments to where they just sell the starter decks and that's what people can play with on a weekly basis, and they can get packs upon entry and packs for prizes for winning and meeting certain goals. Now, is this going to be the scenario that works best for every single store out there? Most likely not. Now, you've got some stores that are in either really small markets or really overly saturated markets where there may actually be enough product to be sold. Now, I would caution you about looking at market price. I've seen a lot of store owners on a lot of these forums that are trying to justify selling their regulars this product for the inflated market price that comes out there. Now, keep in mind, it will sell. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that in a capitalistic society, you should not try to get every dollar out of your product. I do caution you, though, that once these products are sold, and you've made that dollar, if these people aren't coming back to you in the future to buy your playing mats, to buy your sleeves, to buy the stuff that there are ample supply of everywhere else, because there is another store in town that did take care of them, that kept product available for them at a reasonable cost, that's the stuff that's going to hurt when you go and try to make sure you're hitting those minimum requirements for the organized play. So I do caution you guys out there. Like I said, I know a lot of people have been already out there talking about how they're getting ready to do it, they're going to be selling it, and they're not going to let anybody make any money off of their product. Just be cautious. Don't put yourself in a bad situation in the short term, and certainly don't want to put yourself in a bad situation in the long term. Now, ultimately, too, a lot of people are looking for people to blame in this scenario, and really, Ravensburger should have known better. They've been working with Disney for a while. They should have understood the demand that was behind this kind of IP whenever they went and acquired it to make this game. They knew they were buying an IP that was going to sell product, but it does not seem like they did enough research on how intense of a collector an IP this actually was. And I do hold them responsible for that. Now, I do applaud that they got out early once they've noticed that there was going to really be a very short supply for a very high demand and said, we are going to print this product. We do not want this to be a product that cannot be purchased. We want people to have it in their hands, to be able to play it, to be able to collect it. Now, what does that mean? Again, we go back to their ability to meet that demand, and I don't think that they're going to be able to catch it up. If we use previous card game launches like One Piece, where we're into set 3, working on our way to set 4, and there's still a demand for that set 1, even with the additional waves that have come out. And that demand is nowhere near what we're looking at for Lorcana. So I honestly think that they will back that up by printing lots of set 1. I don't know that we will ever be able to get to a point, though, where the demand has fallen to a point to where retail boxes are out there, at least not probably until set 3 or 4 of Lorcana. So if that's what you're waiting for and you're a collector and you're fine with waiting for it, that's fine. But if you're wanting to play in the organized play tournaments, you're not going to be able to wait till set 3 or set 4 before really getting into the game. Now, hopefully they're able to adjust the print runs for set 2, and we're not going to have another situation like we did with One Piece, where set 1 was really short, set 2 was even more short because stores had to order it before set 1 had even come out and they had seen the demand, and set 3 was also short because there's just not a fast enough way to catch up that demand once that initial surge comes in. So hopefully they're able to adjust sets 2 and 3 while they're still getting set 1 demand caught up, or else we could see shortages with set 2 and set 3 as well. So to recap, basically there's not going to be a lot of booster products out there. There should be enough product out there for you to build and play, especially come September 1st when it hits box stores. Singles prices should drop dramatically if you're looking for deck building singles exclusively. We don't really know if they're going to be chase rares yet or any kind of alternate arts that are in the boxes. But again, to build a deck, you should have a reasonable access to those singles once that September 1st deadline hits. For the stores that are out there, again, think of creative ways to sell the product if you have the means to sell it. Think of creative ways to incentivize your player base with that product if you don't have the means to sell it. But I would caution you against just listing it for market price and letting whoever's first to pay that price take it home. I don't feel like it's good for the community long term, and there's going to be a lot of stores carrying this product, and if you're the store that's just selling everything at market price, it's going to be really hard for you to retain those customers long term. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, Hobby Hero